Moderador.
So the title of my talk is Mobile Communications Get Stupid. Now, I use stupid in the same sense that kids say sick when they mean fabulous, or twisted, or outrageous. So I consider stupid to be a good thing. And it stands in sharp distinction to intelligence, which means basically that the telephone company knows what's intelligent better than the customer does. So in 1997, I wrote this essay called The Rise of the Stupid Network, in which I conceptualized the internet as a cloud, which is basically empty in the middle, at least as far as the user or the application creator is concerned. And I wrote this essay called The Rise of the Stupid Network, which didn't exactly get me fired from Bell Labs, but as a high-level executive who also left Bell Labs explained to me after he and I both left, he said, "David, sometimes you don't even know when you're fired." So the stupid network, I defined it as a network that provides simple connections but no services. In fact, network-specific features, even when they add value to that specific network, become meaningless when you have a network of different kinds of networks. So the value in a stupid network is created at the edge of the network by smart network-enabled products and applications that you simply bring home and plug in. And as a result of the networks, as a direct result of the network's stupidity, we have a whole bunch of network applications that were brought to us by almost everybody except for the telephone company. So we might ask for this audience, where are the winner applications of mobile communications? And we just heard in the previous session that operators themselves have an almost zero record by someone who clearly knows. We are starting to see changing behavior by simple changes in the user interface. The iPhone, it turns out, I think people in this room are aware of the result that the iPhone is a source of 50 times more Google searches than your ordinary hand phone, because in your ordinary hand phone, the internet is basically hidden. My intelligence from Barcelona says that Matsuyoshi Son at SoftBank has even stronger data. When he put a Yahoo button or a Y exclamation point button on the SoftBank's phone, he got 75 times more Yahoo searches. Here's another signpost along the route from centralized and relatively closed networks to open networks. This is a 17-year-old kid who is arguably the first person to unlock the iPhone. And he said, maybe it'll make me a little more famous when I go to college, but I don't want people to make money from this. The two black swans of the stupid network are intelligence at the edge, as I've previously explained, and another one called radical abundance. Now, as you can see, these two swans have mated, and their children are in the foreground of the picture, and you know that they're baby black swans because they're black. And as they mature, their necks will grow longer and they'll learn to swim, right? The other birds in the picture we can totally ignore because clearly they can't fly, they're not black, and they're irrelevant, so we will not discuss them further. Here are a few more signposts along the way, weak signals from the future. One of the words that is in remarkably infrequent use in a discussion of open networks today is the word Wi-Fi. I think it's been used about 4 times so far. Another word that we haven't heard very much is internet. Anyway, it's remarkable how Wi-Fi accounts for a tiny sliver of spectrum and an incredible amount of wireless innovation. By 2002, there were over 1,000 ISM or Wi-Fi devices. By now, there's in the neighborhood of 10,000 devices. Nokia has pioneered carrierless devices that don't use GSM radios, that only use Wi-Fi in order to escape from burdensome carrier requirements, and that's proven to be a productive platform. There's OpenMoko, which you'll hear more about. The iPhone unlocking is a great step forward. As is Android, we now know that 36% of iPhones are unlocked, so even if you build walled gardens, there will be tunneling, there will be, the human spirit will bubble up irrepressibly despite the carrier's attempt to control the value proposition. Apple released a software developers toolkit 6 months after they swore they wouldn't, because they had to. And then even Verizon, one of the more conservative US mobile operators, announced an open device initiative so that the low runner Layer 1 protocol would be able to hopefully keep up with the high runner GSM. Now, the other black swan is called radical abundance, and we've heard some talk about how we can't have network neutrality because spectrum is scarce, and if we had a neutral open network, then people could use as much spectrum as they wanted for anything they wanted it for. And actually, the idea of spectrum scarcity at a level of fundamental physics is false. Today's regulations are based on 1920s technology. Today we can do much more than regulate frequencies in little frequency bands. We have much better transmitters and receivers, smart antennas, mesh architectures, cognitive radios, wide range of potential protocols, the ability to creatively use frequency, space, and time, and when the regulatory establishment gets pushed by the irrepressible human innovative spirit to innovate and actually starts to rethink what we can do with spectrum, we have the potential for radical abundance. The strategic response of the mobile operators is predictable. We will own the customer. We are no stinking dumb pipe. But actually, they're smarter than that. They're fighting back with fear, uncertainty, doubt. LLL, which stands for litigation, lobbying, and legislation. They fight back with the sanctimonious social obligations, So it's for the good of the customer that the telephone reports its location all the time, for example, so that in the event that someone needs to call an ambulance, the ambulance will come to the right place. Of course, everybody wants to catch the bad guys, and nobody wants to account for the costs of catching the bad guys. Will we have more unlicensed spectrum? Certainly we could have more unlicensed spectrum. Surprisingly, if we had it, there would be somehow miraculously signals would appear on it, whether there were carriers to provide the capital or not. And then there's this move towards re-verticalization. The goat is scarcity, but the actual idea is that the carrier has always been involved in the application, and the carrier wants to stay involved in the application. So my conclusion is that we'll get more smart applications, unexpected applications with the stupid network. And thank you.